It looks like the Nobel Prize-winning economist Robert Shiller is walking back on his warning of bubbles in the housing market. Today, Shiller's saying that home prices look reasonable after warning over recent months that dramatic gains in markets like Las Vegas or San Francisco looked, well, bubbly, as he put it. Joining us now is CNBC's real estate reporter Diana Olick and Shari Olefson, who's a real estate attorney and CEO of the Carnegie Group. Guys, welcome both of you. Shari, let me kick off with you.
Sure.
Do you think there are bubbles in the U.S. housing market?
You know, there's no question, Simon, that we are sort of becoming, like Robert Shiller said, detached from the fundamentals. I think one of the big issues is that the tracks had been greased for higher prices. And so for folks out on the front line, going to offer, for example, $250,000 on a home, when the realtor tells them this home traded for $500,000 during the bubble, that's meaningful, even though it is detached from the so-called fundamentals. So I do think we were headed in that direction, but we're seeing a change of tides now, and I'm pretty confident that we're going to be backing off of that.
Interesting. Diana, what do you see?
Well, look, we are backing off some of the real price jumps we saw in the first 6 months of the year, but there is an argument to be made for, say, Bubble 2.0, and that is the fact that while we're still 22% lower than the peak of home prices in 2006, we're operating in a completely different mortgage environment than we were back then. So back then, if you're buying a $200,000 house, you didn't have to have any money down. You could get an adjustable rate, interest-only mortgage. You could get a negative amortization mortgage, and you didn't even have to prove that you had a job to do it. Today, the environment is completely different. You have to have 20% down for that conventional loan. Even if you're going FHA at 3.5% down, you're going to be paying higher premiums. That cuts into the affordability, and it does say that, look, even though prices are still lower, some of these markets are bubbles.
We should just mention, Shari, one important point, and that is that interest rates remain very low. And I think I'm right in saying in your industry that the rule of thumb is that a 1% move on the mortgage rate affects affordability by about 10%.
Yeah, it's huge. It's really significant. And as rates go up, the other thing that interest rates have been impacting, and again, this goes to the psychology of housing, is demand. So I expect to see some significant drops in demand from home buyers. Look, a lot of these folks are fatigued. The truth is, Simon, that so far right now, we're down to under 30% of our home purchases are by first-time buyers. A lot of these sales we're talking about are cash deals to begin with. So Diana's right that loans have been more difficult to get. And after June 1st, when some of these ability to repay rules come in that were initiated under the Dodd-Frank Act, I would expect to see it become even more difficult. By some counts, 3 in 10 folks will be unable to get a loan. That's 3 in 10 folks who are qualified today.
Wow. Shari, we'll leave it there. Nice to see you again. Thank you for coming in. Shari Olefson and our very own Diana Olick.